Content warning. The following show contains a host that smokes cigarettes, foul language from time to time because he's trying to stop being a potty mouth, but he never quite succeeds, discussions of fictitious violence, and discussions of social interactions. Sometime it might get awkward, sometimes it might be funny. Let's hope it's the latter today. Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's up? Ahoy, as the person in the chat would say to us right now. How's it going out there, guys? I am Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, and welcome to the dark side of the room. Guess what? It's Monday, all right? And guess what? It's still hot, but we're here. Look at all that. Hey, we actually did the whole thing, and we are actually doing the thing, and that is awesome. That is super great. We've actually got everything going, and oh man, we have some stuff to talk to you guys about today. This is gonna be a relatively fun show. Now, I was gonna let you guys know, I was going to be doing some stuff like painting miniatures and getting all this stuff ready for Decker Day, but I want to tell you guys about my weekend and how it relates to gaming and a whole bunch of other stuff. So so I wanted to talk to you guys about all that stuff today because we have a day. Oh my god, do we have a day. It is a day, all right? And with the day that we got, seriously speaking, yeah, I did some really fun comparisons this weekend because I did a lot of stuff. Hang on, where's my thing? Is that my thing? That's not my thing. Okay, I did a lot of interesting comparisons and stuff this week. Fun show. That's not what we signed up for. You're right. Maybe I should put on my Ben Stein persona. Okay, today we are going to talk about combat rating and challenge rating. Anyone? Okay. So yeah, and honestly, it's weird. I got up this morning, I was in a relatively good mood, so that is a weird thing for me because I don't really get up in the morning. So with that, I'm gonna say thank you guys for showing up. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today, but before we do any of that, I want you guys to know if you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that, you should check out the email at backinthedeck@gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can also hit me up on the social media that everybody has, but everybody says sucks for some reason. I don't know why they say it, but you know what? That's just what they do. It's like, oh man, everything sucks. That social media sucks. Instagram sucks. Twitter sucks. It's all hell. And of course, you can hit me up on the TikToks. You know, on the TikToks, I haven't been posting a whole lot today, but you know what? It's been some fun stuff. So, with all of that though, I'm gonna say thank you guys for being here, and please join Deckers on the Book, y'all. Join Deckers on the Book. I know y'all got Facebook profiles out there. Even if you don't check them for Deckers on the Book, because you never know what I'm giving away. Like, seriously speaking, I'm like, ooh, there's a free thing I found online that would be really awesome for some folks, and yeah, that would be pretty cool for me to like give out to the deckers, because you know I'm always like, hey, look at all that stuff. So you know, I want to give a major shout out to my patrons out there like Laura Holden, Shaylee Watson, Jennifer Kroll, Noel Ohlheiler, Christopher Chalmers, Joseph Hines, and you guys actually really helped me keep this place open. Let's see, check out the show. I'm reaching out to one of my Canadian friends and hey, check out the show today. Let me give you twitch.tv. Yeah, twitch.tv /BID_P. Seriously speaking, like there is so many things that we can do and say and check out and all that stuff. And what did I know? I didn't want to do that. I want to copy. Okay. And of course, you know, like I said, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be in there. And yeah. And by the way, thank you guys. Thank you to my chat for being here, because you guys really make things awesome. Also, our big announcement for the day. Let me check this out. I can barely see anything in here. Of course, we've got Decker Day. What? Yeah, Decker Day is coming. It's coming, y'all. It's coming. It's on its way. I just got to make sure I got all the numbers right here. Yeah. Pop. And pop. And pop. I've been trying to stay on top of this, but y'all know it's Monday morning. Y'all know how that goes. Or should I say, okay, it's Monday afternoon, but for me, it's like Monday morning. But yeah, come on down to Decker Day. I mean, we only got 91 tickets left, all right? I'm doing everything I can to make sure that people can go down there, including adding a UPC to the flyer, all right? We're talking a whole day of games. I was going to be doing a lot of the, yeah, there we go. We got a picture of the venue and stuff like that. We're going to be having demos and stuff like that. I think I've been reached out to from some independent game publishers to ask if they can come put on demos, and I'm like, guess what? That's less work for me. So I'm all in that. And of course, guys, like I said, you guys should come down, check it out. It's going to be such an awesome day if you're in the Southern California area. August 27th. That's the Saturday after the one that's coming. $50 for single admission, $80 for the family pack. But I just keep expanding this stuff, man. This thing just keeps freaking growing. So you guys are getting swag bags now. We're talking a couple of miniatures, some stickers. I might throw in some terrain pieces. We got a paint and take. We're gonna have so many demos. I was gonna be doing like 8 demos and a couple of lectures that day for people, but I really want demonstration tables to be going on all day. So the fact that that these indie companies have been have said like, hey, we hear you're doing an event, can we come and set up a table, and how much would you charge us? I'm like, you're coming, let me see your game, let me see if it's family friendly, and if I can get into it, because if I can get into it, then I want it there and all that stuff, because I like having fun, and that's what today's episode is going to be about, guys. So yeah, check out Decker Day, and of course our panel from 133 Art, Marquita Lestar, Michael Young from Nerd Soul, Charles Mendoza, owner and operator of Guild House Games, and they're setting up a booth. And so we got so much stuff, and that $50 covers your swag bag, 2 hours of free parking, and an all-you-can-eat Italian buffet. I mean, come on, seriously. You know, how many times do y'all leave the house for a day and not end up spending $50? You know I have a hard time doing that, and I'm broke. So yeah, come on down, check out Decker Day. Also, check out our swag, okay? We have regular merch at T Public. All right, and yeah, check out the T Public BidP thing, because honestly, yeah, our shirts, notebooks, hoodies, all that stuff, like seriously, we're seriously getting up there, guys. We're really doing we're really becoming, I don't know, I guess we're becoming a real good God company that does public outreach as well. So that is so awesome. Hey Friedland, how you doing, man? I wish you were in the continental United States and you could come down to Decker Day. That would be so awesome. But look, guys, if we sell out all the tickets and we still get people coming in going, no, really, come in and we want to do the stuff as well, then I'll put on a second one. I will put on another one in about 3 months. Now, if not at that location, at a location that will work with us as well as Bono's Pizza has. Okay? Because I do want to take this on the road, reach out to Deckers, not just to meet you guys. Okay? I don't just want to meet you guys, but I'm reaching out. I want people to know that we're here, you know, not to make us money. I mean, that's a side effect. The real thing is, I want people to know that we're here so that they have a place where if they feel like outcasts among outcasts, all right, then they know, hey, you know what, back in the deck, they're out here for me, man. That's the whole thing. So with all that, I gotta say, yeah, this is a thing. Man, I've been talking for 11 minutes already. That is just a weird thing. So let's get in to today's show, all right? Because I did a thing. So, oh, my voice is really soft. Okay, well, guess what? I'm loud now. How's that, huh? Yeah, but okay, so in all seriousness, let me check to see the YouTube channel, because each one of these shows, believe it or not, guys, is a dual stream. We're streaming live on both Twitch and YouTube. That's why Twitch has stopped paying me, because they're like, we want exclusivity for 24 hours and I'm like, okay, fine. Push my stuff in the algorithm so I can get more viewers. If not, then I'm gonna be spreading this as much as I can. All right, because I know I'm a niche of a niche of a niche. So there you go. So yeah, we're also on YouTube. So yeah, there you go on that. So I want to give a special thanks to E.W. McCann, the Bard in the Deck, and I am very, very serious about this. One of our people who I'm not putting out there, okay, I'm not putting their stuff out there right now, but D. Russell, okay, thank you, DS Russell. Those guys are so into Decker Day that they have sponsored a couple of tickets to Decker Day. So if there's some folks that want to go and just can't afford it because their parents don't make that much money, or they don't make that much money, or they have been losing work over COVID, these two Deckers have said, you know what, y'all need to go. And I really, really appreciate that, guys. Seriously. That is seriously what we're all about. Because I noticed something. So this weekend, I ended up having to go to 2 parties. I know, right? Poor, pitiful me. But here's the thing. I don't like parties. I really don't. I don't like going to parties. I don't like party conversation. I don't like being around a bunch of drunk people. And I don't like trying to talk to people with music going the whole time. You know what I'm talking about? I just love it. I think the Axis of Awesome said it right in their song At the Club Tonight, with the, you say I like you, what? You say I want you, what? You know, yeah, that's, I don't like that experience. That is not my idea of fun. But these parties that I went to this weekend were parties that were thrown and populated by nerds, geeks, and gamers. And I'm like, I got an event coming up. So I best go down there and start passing out some flyers, right? I go down there, and the first party I went to was a bunch of special effects geeks. Warhammer, some of them were 40K players. Some of them were D&D players. Some of them were just horror movie enthusiasts. It was so cool to be around them. And it was at the coolest house I have been to. Oh my God, this backyard was so amazing. Did I take pictures? No, because you don't go to somebody's house for the first time, meeting them and going, yeah, I'm gonna just take a look at your floor plan here. That's rude. Okay? But yeah, I was like, wow, this place is amazing. Literally, it had so many nooks and crannies and secret passages in the backyard that literally led into the hills by Dodger Stadium. It was weird and awesome. And the guy that invited me was like, yeah, you'll know a couple of people there, just head on in. And I'm like, what? Okay. And it was interesting. I met a few people. I had to make a few charisma rolls. And I also knew that I couldn't stay there very long because the party that I go to annually with my normal gaming group was also happening. All right, so I schmoozed a little, talked to people. I'm like, if there was somebody wearing a heavy metal t-shirt, of course I went and talked to them. And there were a lot of people wearing heavy metal. And there were a lot of goths there. And I'm like, dude, this is amazing. So I'm just going to go talk to people, see if I can make a few new friends. Oh, they're all special effects nerds as well. So I told them about Darkcide. It was pretty cool. Then I had to get in the car and drive 30 miles. When I got to the other party, there was something that I definitely learned. And it was interesting. It was very, very interesting. Now, I'd gotten to the party late. And I, having gotten to the party late, I ran into some older school gamers, right? And when I say older school gamers, I mean, these guys have been playing for a long time with a lot of different people. And I'm like, cool. But I noticed something. The people that I was at the first party with were dedicated to having a good time. And the people that I was at the second party with didn't seem to be. And that's a little weird for me. All right. That really was a little weird. Because I've been to parties where people were just dead set on having fun, and I kind of dig it. And I've been to some other parties, like this was the first party where everybody that I was at just seemed to be upset. And give me a sec. And yeah, so I didn't talk to as many people as I normally do. But what I did was I listened a lot. And you learn a lot by listening, guys. One of the things I listened to was the conversations that people had. And it seemed, yes, who gained their knowledge from older scrolls. Not quite the Elder Scrolls, but we're getting there. You're so right. And I kind of looked up and I'm like, holy crap, I'm surrounded by Grognars. Nothing that was brought up in conversation was pleasant. Okay. And when I say that, I mean, we would bring up something that we enjoyed. Like, hey, I really like this thing. And it was always, I would like it, but this tiny little aspect about it really pisses me off. And I'm like, I don't know when it happened. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what happened. But at some point, I was like, guys, I'm not dedicated to having a great time at all moments, but I'm really good at being miserable. Okay, really good at being miserable. I was an adolescent in the 90s. Okay, we nailed that stuff. All right. I mean, we are this is the generation that brought you Linkin Park and Pearl Jam and Nirvana. And we brought you an entire genre of music that was based on groaning, moaning, and stomach aches. Nothing's happy on heroin. Seriously, that was like, I have a black belt in stuff being sad, disparaging, discouraging. Like, seriously, I got that book, teen angst down to an art. Seriously, the hippies had like existential crisis that they decided to be happy through, but we Generation Xers, dude. Xers and elders, millennials. Okay, the younger Xers, elder millennials. We were just like, oh God. Actually, we don't have a black belt in grunge. We have a plaid belt in grunge. If you know, you know. But yeah. And I'm at a party with a lot of these same people. Some of them are like 5 to 6 years my seniors. And and I just kind of went, this is interesting. You know, this is really interesting, because I'm like, okay, so you're mad all the time, you're sad all the time, nothing is ever good enough. And it got me wondering, and I brought this up just a little bit last week, and I said I'd talk about it. You know, because after leaving the party, I was like, wow, I would normally be sad thinking of what I've done, but I was like, this is kind of fun. And I thought about it, and I looked at, like, these were my older friends. These were the ones that I looked up to. I learned a lot of gaming and stuff from. I learned a lot of principles and formulas, and definitely the group that I learned how to break games with. And when I say break, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking hacking games to make sure that everything is like unlosable, you know? But here's the thing. I find that when I get into stuff, be it board games, RPGs and stuff, I'm still that little kid that watches Sesame Street and loves Mr. Rogers and love reading Rainbow. I go in going, golly, this looks fun. And I never lose that, you know. And this is what I want to talk about with wonder between the GM and the gamer. All right. And no, I'm sorry, I'm not that guy that just goes straight to the point. All right. I write long essays. I speak in essays. I think in essays. And the reason is because I don't want y'all mixing up what I'm saying. I want to be clear. And when you speak abbreviatedly, you can only speak in abbreviated ways to people that grew up in the same environment as you. And I'm not from where you guys are from. Okay. I'm pretty sure you guys are from Earth. Where in my region of Periscotia, Mars, things are a little different. But what I notice is environment has a lot to do with the relationship between gamer, other gamer, and GM. So I'm going to talk about this today. And I'm going to be breaking this down this week into a lot of sub-subjects, okay? And today's sub-subject, because I was going to do tomorrow's sub-subject, but I have a lot more thinking and writing I have to do on that. But today's sub-subject is... No, I don't have a title card. Unnecessary competition. All right. Unnecessary competition. And what do I mean? As y'all know, I play a lot of games. If you're at Decker Day, you're going to see me giving demonstrations of a lot of different games while I'm not running around the event herding cats, okay? And I'm always looking to learn more games because I love to play. I'm like, I am literally a 6'4", 190-pound ferret. If I don't play, I will die. Send your fan art to backinthedeck@gmail.com. Seriously, I have to play. All right. I want you guys to know, here in the United States of America, if you own a business, you're expected to work a minimum of 60 hours a week. Okay, a minimum of 60 hours a week. I work about 130 for Back in the Deck with all the stuff that we do, primarily because I can't afford to hire an intern, and I refuse to do an unpaid internship. I will not let someone do an unpaid internship. As much as I need help, I can't say be with me 8 hours a day not making any money to help me make some money, and I'll try and pay you on the back end when I get big. No, sorry, man. I'm too old school for that. So I put in a lot of work, and with the hours that I work on this channel, with the community outreach, the merchandise manufacture, the mail orders, which I'm really far behind on, you know, the gathering up materials, the events that we're doing, that is a lot. All right. So when I play, I like to play and smile and have fun. I'm not out there to win. And when I'm running a game, and this is something that I try and let a lot of newer players know, all right? If you go into a game unnecessarily competitive, you are kind of defeating the point of the game that you're playing, and this is why. We've gone over this before, okay? As the GM, if we were competing, the GM wins. The GM has control over the planet, the NPCs, the bad guys, and the conditions on whether or not your character will live or die. Okay? Dead serious. All it takes is a DM to decide that your character is going to die, and it will happen. That session, I promise. It doesn't matter how many saving throws versus death you do. All right? I'm not the rocks fall everyone dies GM, but if I throw enough random encounters at you between rests, your character will die. Okay, it just will. Especially if I keep escalating the monsters that I throw at you. Okay, so there's no point in competing. But here's the thing, and this is something that newer players have to learn, and a lot of them don't because of traumatic experiences with previous game masters. Ready? Get a pencil. The GM, the game master, in more than 80% of role-playing games, want you to win. If the GM wins, game over. If the players win, game over? And not really. Game extends. If the players win, they've wrapped up that story. Next story. If they win the fight, cool, next chapter. If they win the social encounter, cool, next chapter. You see what I mean? And a lot of players, a lot of very new players, don't quite understand that concept of, no, really, I'm rooting for you. Well, if you're rooting for me, why don't you just let me win? Because just letting you win isn't playing a game. And this was something that I went rounds with players with for years. Okay, I mean years. Because they came from three worlds. Okay, ready for this? Are you ready? Are you listening? Board games, video games, and sports. Okay? It's weird. Okay? It's weird. But with board games, most board games are competitive. Okay? And I'm throwing card games in there too. So we're talking Magic the Gathering, Uno, poker, you know. Blackjack is a little weird because that's actually a cooperative game when done correctly. And, you know, Monopoly is the worst. Okay? Video games, which cultivates, you're on a mission, you are the main character, and you do this by yourself. Unless it's a combat scenario like a raid in World of Warcraft, in which case you all get together to beat a big thing, you get experience, and one person in that party is going to benefit from whatever the monster drops. Okay? And of course, sports, where in short, you and your team are out to crush, destroy, eliminate the other team. okay? Oh, winning by 1 point is not enough. You must destroy them. You must make them quiver in fear when it comes to trying to play you again. That's how you move that chain. That's how you move that line of skirmish. That's how, and it's just like, wow, really, that's not the world I came from, because I didn't grow up with a whole lot of toxic masculinity. I had older brothers, but that was about it. And my older brothers are so much older than me that being around me already crapped their style. So yeah. So I never built up that competitive streak. This is one of the reasons that you guys will hear me rail against the tournament scene and the tournament mindset all the time. Okay, I'm not that guy that's going, nobody ever let me on their kickball team, but I'll show them. Nah, I made my own fun. and I like the idea of being on a team. I'm just not big on our team's purpose is to conquer and subjugate. All right. I always like the idea of having a gang that was the biggest, baddest gang on the block, the one that every other gang was afraid to fight against, whose entire purpose was opening up soup kitchen and tutoring halls and, oh my God, I'm a Black Panther. Anyway, it's that kind of thing. Now I'm going to force you to live a happy life. That's where I'm at. So when I found myself around a bunch of my old Groknar friends, I noticed a common theme was that 90s vibe of everything sucks. Everything sucks, and I worked my butt off to become great, and I want you to fucking acknowledge it. That is what a lot of the people around me seem to have the vibe of. And I'm like, I do acknowledge it. I'm just not going to worship it, guys. You guys have built up to be a whole lot of things, and I looked up to you guys for a long time because of that. And I know a lot of people who aren't willing to acknowledge my growth or where I come from, because I live in the United States and we've got issues with that here. However, when I left the two parties, I'm like, didn't really need it. And it's ironic because I woke up today in a really good mood. So I wanted to talk about the GM and the gamer. All right. The GM does want you to win. And yes, fried one, you don't want to kill your characters for ruining the game that you so wonderfully planned out all that time. Or sorry, freed one. I'm gonna get used to it. I grew up in the American educational system, and yeah. So yeah. So at the end of the thing, I always wanted to make clear to the players that fun, happiness, joy, believe it or not, is contagious. It really is. Now, false joy, or as I like to call the nervous laugh, that's not contagious. That's off-putting. But having fun, actually enjoying yourself, that moment at the table where the person rolls the dice and gets the unexpected result, or as I like to call it, the moment, is contagious. It's the reason that we play these games. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, seriously speaking, when we have those moments of pure joy, pure just contentment, the actual laughter that comes along, that, oh dude, this is great, and what, those are the reasons that we play. Those are the stories that we tell. Those dramatic moments, those triumphant moments, And how do we get there? Well, we get there by understanding that everyone at the table wants all of those things. Now, I'm speaking, of course, in ideal situations, okay? Super ideal situations. And what do I mean by ideal? I mean, in a nutshell, those situations where everyone at the table has made the agreement that that is what they want. Okay? And this is big. Hang on. I want recently closed tabs. And why do we want those? Okay? Why do we want those moments? Why do we care? Why are they so important? I will tell you flat out, not mincing any words. It's super important, everyone, that most of the players that play these games with us are on the same page. Okay? This is really big. I've been at many a table where my Grocknar friends, and I love them to death, suffered from tomorrow's subject. And tomorrow's subject is post-gamer stress disorder, okay? PGSD, all right? Or y'all can put the letters together. And you might want to ask, like, what is that? Well, I will tell you. I told you guys in no half words that I got to spend a little time with the folks that taught me how to break games. All right? And I mean this, like, literally, these are the ones who taught me how to break games. Well, these are also the people that taught me that when you play a game, it is your job to make sure that the GM can't screw you over. Whether or not they plan on it isn't part of the conversation. Okay? Acting as if there's going to be people at the table that will, as I like to call it, arch you. They will decide that you are someone that needs to be taken down, and they will act that way. And in truth, I really can't deal with the PGSD on that. I've talked about some of these guys before. Like, they wouldn't be in one of my games unless they knew the system better than I did. And part of it is, well, they have high standards and they want to make sure that you're not accidentally cheating. And I'm like, nah, this is distrust. This really is distrust. Because there is, at least here in Southern California, in the crowds that I've run with, over the past 30 years, an idea that railroading is good. And I don't mean railroading in the game, but the idea behind railroading, which is there is but one way to accomplish something, one answer to any puzzle, one path to any particular place, one way to succeed or win. And I'm not just talking about with RPGs or tabletop, and I mean just in life. It is the most efficient, the highest class, the most expensive way to do things. And if you guys are wondering why I rail so hard against this idea, I will tell you in no uncertain terms the reason that I rail against it. Are you ready? Because I'm about to tell you that right now. Okay? The reason that I am so against that thought process is because not a single person, not one person that I know who has that mindset, not one person that I've ever met with the idea of but one way to victory and one way to happiness and one way to contentment. I've never, ever, ever met anyone who had that mindset who was also happy. And when I say happy, I mean, so secure in their happiness that the unhappiness of other people didn't rock their happiness. It didn't tear it down. I'm talking securely happy. Okay? There are so many things that I'm satisfied with, or that I actually know in life, now that I'm middle-aged, that I just don't bother arguing about. I don't. Because I have observed it to be true. Okay? I don't argue that the world is flat. And if someone comes up to me and says the world is flat, I'm like, okay, this is not a conversation I want to have with you, and I promise you it's not one that you want to have with me. Can we change the subject? And that's it. Okay? But I know a lot of people, and a lot of them are gamers because of the way that society is structured, that they create this game behind the game that however they act in game, or whatever happens to their character or to their little toy soldier, is a reflection of who they are as a person. Okay? And this is one of the things behind previous gamer trauma. When you have a GM who prides themselves on being the smartest guy in the room, when that GM meets a player that thinks outside the box of their plot, when they take it personally and take it out on gamers, they kind of create this environment to where competition happens. Unintentional competition, but competition nonetheless. And when this is the GM, or when this is your first GM, okay, when this is your very first game master, this is the foundation of how you believe that gaming is supposed to be done. And spending time with my older Grocknar friends who kind of have this thought process really opened my eyes to the consequences of that paradigm. Because, man, they were so unhappy. And my heart went out to them. They really, really did. Like, this wasn't a, ha ha, I'm happy, you're not, I win. This was, I really care about you guys, and it hurts me to see you like this. I wish there was something I could do to help. Okay? And that's the thing. So when it comes to getting at a gaming table, it's really important to think about the social contract of what gaming is. All right? Why are you playing 40K? Why do you enjoy D&D? Etc., etc., etc. Now, this particular thing requires a lot, and I mean a lot, of self-reflection. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with asking yourself why. Why do you want to do this? You know, how is it that we have fun? And we talked about that in Flavors of Fun. I got to talk to a couple of gamers that I'd met for the first time, and it was refreshing. It was everything I love about this. Now, I realized something. I'm not going to be that old man that's like, why aren't people today like they were when I was young? For two reasons. One, you are. And second, I love change, okay? I love change, and if you think I'm segueing, I am. And here's the reason. Change brings about freshness. It brings about a lot of new perspectives, new ideas. I have a really good friend that did a Facebook post that I'm going to paraphrase because it was a book, and it was essentially him saying, please reboot my childhood. Okay? The people that say, no, Star Wars is this, and Spider-Man is this, that's actually gatekeeping. Okay? Primarily because it closes the door to any other perspective, any other point of view. And I'm going to make it very clear, okay? I'm about to lose subscribers. If you were from Western civilization, you, just like me, have done it and do it more than you think. Okay? We all do it. That's the nature of Western civilization right now, with capitalism, competition, all that other stuff. It's easy for us to fall into the idea of one way to do things. This is the way. This is the only interpretation. Fight Club is an allegory for a person coming to terms with their own sexuality, and that's it. You know? And when things from our past, our nostalgic things, are rebooted, okay? Or when there's a new addition to the game, it's not a bad thing. It's just, this is as far as the creators have been able to take the premise that they have come up with that set of game mechanics, or this, or this over here is as far as the creators have been able to market and capitalize on this set of game mechanics, or this story, or this type of story, okay? But here is the danger in that. Changes, iterations, evolutions, they bring about nostalgia. And nostalgia is great. I love nostalgia. All right. Let's see. Just having this talk. Yeah, let's see, Xanathase, with some of my friends. It's okay not to like the new Trek, but if you say that it's not Star Trek, then what you're saying, then you're saying that the opinion of someone who likes it is not valid. Exactly. Thank you. That right there is exactly it. Okay. I do say that's not my thing. Clever Little Vixen, you and I have a lot in common. I fought when they changed Billy Batson, and when it was the change from Captain Marvel to Shazam. I loved Billy Batson as a character. He was a good kid. And when the New 52 came out and they changed him to an anxious 21st century kid who was angry at everything, I'm like, that's not my Billy Batson. And, you know, or that's not Billy Batson. Billy Batson is a good kid with no pupil or no irises. He's just all pupil and then I'm like, wait a minute. In New 52, that's not my Shazam. That's not my Superman. That's not my Hal Jordan. Why did you get rid of my Kyle? Why did you bring back Barry? Where's my Wally? Holy crap, this isn't for me. And I've had this talk with a few people. The people that are just dead set in on their arguments that don't address the actual issue, okay? And here's the thing, guys. You guys will hear this all the time. Well, I spent my time learning this. I spent all of this, or I like this and they're asking for my money, you know? And I'm like, they're putting the commercial out there, you know? And I have to bring this up because although there's still new content being made for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, they're probably going to change editions in the next couple of years. Okay, they're probably going to 5.5 or 6.0. And I remember the fallout in 2000 when 3rd edition came out, and the Grognars were like, please, I don't need feats. My character already has 2 feats. And then when people got used to 3.0, 3.5 came out, and people actually liked it. But when 4th edition came out, people were like, oh. And then the split between Pathfinder and D&D came. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with getting older. You know, I have an appreciation for fresh eyes tackling things. Now, if you guys watch this channel a lot and you're subscribed with your Amazon Prime subscription, please do so. You guys will know that I run Warp Tumbler C24. Okay. And that particular game, yes, it is an all woman game, except for myself. And it's also a game full of newer players. Okay. And when I say newer, I mean people who have been playing for less than 10 years. And the perspectives that they take to these stories are just amazing. I run another game with an older gamer, and I can definitely tell that there is some of that post disorder, like, oh my God, it's an NPC, I gotta kill it. Not that I'm a murder hobo, I just don't trust it not coming back later and trying to kill me, you know, type of thing. And and yeah, it's the new perspective of running a campaign with a bunch of diplomats and pacifists who have characters who are diplomats and pacifists is refreshing, and it's a stretch of my legs as a GM and as a storyteller. And this is my point. Okay, this is exactly my point. The happiness comes from freshness. All right. A lot of people get comfortable in gaming a certain way. A lot of people get comfortable with whatever their first idea at a game master is, or at how a game is supposed to be played. And this goes into what colors their flavor of fun. All right. I saw a fantastic video this morning from one of my favorite YouTube content providers, who I'll tell you at the end of the episode. And he was saying, like, he actually had a friend who he recommended some games to, and his friend didn't like it because his friend didn't like sandbox. They liked knowing the mission, succeeding in the mission, and getting the thing and moving on to the next mission. They liked solving puzzles. They liked being railroaded. Okay. And that was their preference in a game. And that's the thing. Nothing's wrong with that, because there isn't just one way to play. And this is where we loop all the way back around to our first subject about the contract, the social contract between the GM and the gamer. Wow, it's almost like I have structure to what seems to be a rant. I'm an actor, y'all. Like I said, I woke up in a good mood. These are the kinds of shows that you get. That thing between the gamer and the GM. This is where that introspection comes. What do you as a player like in a game? Do you like the openness and creativity of sandboxing? Are you super competitive and think you have to outwit the GM or be the most clever person in the room? Do you think that unless all eyes are on you, you don't matter at all? I know a lot of gamers, like I said, a lot of gamers who do have that binary thinking. The idea of they don't count at all until it's their turn. And I always have to push the point that the games are collaborative. Everybody gets together. I told you guys a few weeks ago when I had a meeting with one of the games that I run. And it was like pulling teeth trying to get out of them what they wanted. And they're like, well, I didn't want to get in the way of your vision. I didn't want to rock the boat. I'm like, okay, guys, I get that. What you guys need to understand about me as a GM is that, yes, I do run sandbox games. I can run railroad games. Okay. I can pretty much do anything you want. What I can't do is engage you guys until I know what you want. Because if I don't know what you want, I'm playing a lot of different things until I stumble upon what you actually want. So you got to be open with me. You got to be open. You got to be forthcoming so that I can create something that you like that has my stamp on it, my fingerprints. And then you guys can interact with what I create and put your stamps and fingerprints on. And next thing you know, boom, we've got a 5-person writing team, and this is great, you know? And that right there is commonly considered to be the absolute most common thread between what modern D&D or role-playing games and stuff are. Now, I only got a few more minutes, so I want to talk about actual competitive games, all right? Now, I find myself in an interesting position because, as you guys know, I worked for a few game stores, a few comic stores. I was a tournament judge for a little while, and all that stuff. Here's the thing. The people I worked for, and this is something that I'm very happy for the education in. They were, at the time, they were very much athletes. Okay, they played sports in high school. One of them was on a hockey team. No, two of them were on hockey teams. Three of them were on football teams. Two of them were on baseball teams. Like, these guys were jocks that played games. So when it came to games like Magic the Gathering or War Machine or HeroClix, hell, one of them even grew up to be a lawyer, because they like arguing. This is the way that they had fun, and it was new to me because, again, never had that competitive streak, never had men in my life to teach me the stuff that they're supposed to teach boys. In all honesty, when I was playing sports in school, I wasn't just the last picked, but when the teacher made me the team captain, the players would throw the game because they didn't want to be on my team. They wanted a leader that would win the game, even if they weren't the leader. And I'm like, I got nothing for that. I'm gonna go play hopscotch with the girl. So when it comes to competitive games, one of my managers was like, yeah, no, it's really about crushing the opponent. Crush them. Like, crush them. Not just win, crush them. Now, I come from the standpoint of races, okay? No, not races, but actually getting from point A to point B faster than the other people around. And Fast and the Furious Part 1 pretty much said my entire outlook on competition. Whether it's by an inch or a mile, a victory is a victory. But even in competitive games, no matter how hard I'm playing to win, I'm also rooting for my opponent. And there are two reasons for that. One, I'm a teacher first. So there's this mindset, this competitive mindset of, I will master this game if I can beat the person who taught me. Yeah, possibly. That's a fallacy, by the way. But on another hand, though, I know that if people can beat me on the level that I'm playing when I'm teaching them, they understand the rules, and I dig that, So I want them to win. I want them to totally understand. I love it when people ask questions about rules where they're like, I'm thinking about doing this because this. Does that work? And I'll be like, actually, yes, that does work. Let's do it. And I know my girlfriend did not believe that until she saw me teaching like 5 other people. And whenever there was a question about the rules, I would always interpret the rule in favor of the other player, even if that meant I lost the game. Because I like erring on the side of fun, and I have fun by playing, so there's no way I can lose, right? If you want to cram it into that win-lose paradigm. But here's the thing. This is something that kind of bugs me, kind of doesn't, but it is a paradigm thing, and this is one of the things that I love talking to you guys about. When I play games that happen to have tournament scenes, because a lot of the games I play are not co-op games. There are games that have a winner and a loser. However, I have 2 interactions with stuff like that really stick out in my head. I had a friend long time ago. I lived with him. He charged me really cheap rent. And I taught him how to play HeroClix. And I'm like, hey, you want to play some clicks? And he's like, casual or cutthroat? And I'm like, oh, I like that idea. When he said cutthroat, it's like it's just like chess. You move your hand from the piece. That's it. No takesy backsies. and we're playing rules as written. We have to look up the errata before we play in case anything got changed between our last game and new game, that kind of thing. And casual is, yeah, let's just have fun, see how it goes. That's what the book said. And later on, when I got out of the tournament scene, I started hearing people ask, a competitive game or a friendly game. And the thing that really hit my head, was why are those two mutually exclusive? Like, why is being competitive or even cutthroat anathema to fun? Okay, and this is that paradigm that I talk about, that I've literally started this entire company to get past, and that is gatekeeping. All right, this right here, yeah, it goes immediately with this particular comment right here. Why do you need older fans to validate newer fans by canonizing newer material? Isn't it good enough to say it's okay if you like it? It's not what I fell in love with, and it's not for me. Exactly. Okay. To say this is canon, that is not, this is valid, this is not. Your opinion is, my opinion is valid, yours is not, or your opinion is valid, but yours is not. Again, all that does is close the door to fun. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Xanathades. Freed one is not from the continental United States. So most of the time when they're asking the why questions, they're not questioning you personally, they're questioning American culture. And so, yeah. And yeah, that's a big thing, you know? When it comes down to that, this idea of canonization, gatekeeping, there's less of it for the reasons I grew up with nowadays than than in the past. What do you mean by that, you turtleneck wearing wonderful man you? It's very simple. Back in my day, people did that to shoo away people from playing. The hazing ritual. You have to be this smart in order to be around me. Something that one of my old GMs constantly says, I don't deal with first level humans. Nowadays, that mindset is, this is just how it is, because this is what I had to do to get in, therefore this is what you have to do to get in. Okay, since this is the way I did it, this is the way it needs to be done. Now, as I said, I'm a big fan of new. At heart, I'm an engineer in the sense of I love iteration. Okay, guys, iteration is my jam. How do we make this current thing better than the last thing? All right. So now that I'm the older guy, I go, this is what I had to do in order to get in. It sucked. And it was unnecessary. If I had been more welcomed, I'd be there a lot longer, and more people would be there a lot longer. And I'm here to warn you guys now, and to give you guys cannon, or should I say give you guys cannon fodder, or ammunition rather, to warn other people. Those mindsets very much lead to habitual and regularly happening unhappiness. Okay? I met someone. I'm not gonna say his name because I forgot it. And he was wait, I gave the disclaimer. He was bitching and moaning, just bam bam, bam bam bam, bitch and moan, bitch and moan. Where he lives, there's not a Del Taco. There's just Taco Bell. And it sucks. And I'm like, I guess I gotta get that. I do most of my own cooking, and my girlfriend cooks, so I don't really do fast food a lot. And And he's like, well, I hate cooking in my kitchen because I used to have a really big kitchen and now I have a tiny kitchen. I mean, there's more counter space in my bathroom than there is in my kitchen. I'm like, so do your prep work in your bathroom and then cook it in the kitchen. I'm like, does your stove work? Well, yeah. Does your oven? Well, yeah, I have to do all my prep work by putting a piece of wood on my stove and then cutting up all my vegetables and stuff like that. And it's just a hassle. And I'm like, do you like anything about your life, or should you just run into traffic now? You know, I mean, and I kind of did the old man thing in the way that I do it, where I'm like, so you have a roof over your head, you have a way to store food, you have a working stove, so you can cook, you just don't like to today because it's not as comfortable as it was in your past. However, you dislike it so much that you won't do it at all. And I thought about conversations I've had with my other friends in this same social circle. If it's not better than what they're used to, then they don't want it. And I kind of look at that, and I will tell you guys something. One of my favorite YouTube channels, two actually, because they're by the same guy. One is Sous Vide Everything, and the other is Guga Foods, okay? Now this guy, I call him a Brazilian meat wizard because he's from Brazil and he does amazing things with steak. And I mean, I've watched so many hours of his content on my break times and when I'm not working. And here is an interesting thing, okay? He and his crowd got me looking for Wagyu beef. And I love the richness and the flavor of Wagyu beef, and it is amazing, and I love it and all that jazz. But one of the things that I will not do is I will not make the glorious taste of this meat that is literally $100 per steak. Look it up on Costco, okay? Be my new bottom foundation. When you raise your standards to the point where the best you've ever had is the least that you will ever settle for, down that path lies unhappiness, okay? And culturally speaking, when I went into the suburbs, I noticed that that's what my friends were doing with themselves and with me. I had a really hard time because where I live in South Central LA, I've got a lot of Mexican food places. I got a lot of burger joints, okay? What I don't have are a lot of Taco Bells. I don't have a lot of McDonald's. I don't have a lot of those name places. They're mainly independent. And they don't have access to amazing ingredients, okay? However, when I want a burger, I can go down to my current place. I think it's called Tam's. It's either Tam's or Fantastics, which is funny because both of the places taste exactly alike. And I can have a double bacon cheeseburger at Tam's and be happy as a lark. Okay? Love the taste, love everything. You guys see me drink at least 2 cups of coffee per show. I use non-dairy creamer in my coffee. I like the way it tastes. Do I like the way that heavy cream tastes in my coffee? Yes, I do. However, where I live, heavy cream, or manufacturer's cream, which is heavy cream plus, amazing tasting. I love it. You should try it if you've got the availability. Okay? It tastes amazing. But does that mean if half and half is all I have available that my coffee is garbage and I shouldn't drink it? Well, you really shouldn't drink as much coffee as I drink. But no, I'm going to be happy as long as I got a cup of coffee. Okay? I have a particular brand of sugar. I use C&H sugar. And if value brand sugar is all I got, I'll be happy with that. One of my favorite songs growing up was called "If You Can't Be With the One You Love, Love the One You're With." You know, in opposed to if you can't be with the one you love, die alone, you know? And that's kind of how I look at that stuff. I will tell you guys, if you ever sit at one of my tables, I am not the best game master you will ever have. Hopefully, if you keep gaming. If I am the best game master you've ever had, I will tell you, you need to get out more. All right? Matt Mercer is not the standard for game masters, okay? There is no standard for game masters. Everybody can have fun in different ways. There's so many different flavors and different iterations of those things. All you have to do is understand that part of the contract is making the agreement to have fun and to communicate. Hopefully it's session 0, but if you don't make session 0, have a talk. Maybe over a cup of coffee, maybe at Del Taco, maybe at Taco Bell, maybe at your local pub, about what makes their game fun and if that is something that you can roll with. Okay? Essentially, before you go to Rome, learn what Rome does. You know, it really is that simple. And then if you can deal with the way that Rome operates, go to Rome. If you find out the way that Rome operates and you don't like it, maybe you want to go to Tuscany. Maybe you want to go to Venice. Maybe you want to go to Naples, you know? Because all of these things, all of these hobbies, these things that we do, our gaming, be it competitive or co-op or any of those things, are so much bigger than most of us have been taught. That there's something out there that will fit not only our play style, not only our flavor of fun, but because of this glorious thing called the internet, though it might take more work sometimes than at other times, there are definitely ways to find the people that are compatible with the way that you have fun and people who you are compatible with the ways that they have fun. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for showing up today. Hey, look at that, I'm being played out. Isn't that cool? If you guys got any questions or any comments, then come see me live down here at Decker Day. Yeah, come see me at Decker Day again. Oh, hang on, all that stuff. Yeah, Decker Day, that is some fun stuff. We have a lot of cool things set out. And this really looks to be a good day. If you guys got any questions about that, hit up the Discord. Just look for the Back in the Deck Discord. And of course, you guys can hit me up by sending an email. All right, send me an email at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can also, and that is honestly the only way that you will be able to talk to me about picking up one of the sponsored tickets. If you want to sponsor someone's ticket to Decker Day, send me an email or hit me up on the Discord, and I will talk you through the procedure on doing that. Okay, but I want to thank you guys for showing up today. I love the conversation that's been going on in the chat. Major shout outs to Clever Little Vixen holding it down like gravity. Let's see, I think that's Adwin. Yeah, Adwin666. Alexis the Nexus, Black and White Now in Color, Commander Rude, Freed One, F Top Player, Sophia Fox 21, Vixabel Cosplay, Xanathades. Xanathades, hit me up. I'm gonna be hitting you up on Discord in just a couple of minutes so we can go over some stuff. And again, thank all of you guys for being here. If you're just out there getting your lurk on, well, welcome. Okay, guys. We have deep conversations and all that stuff. And if you're looking for gaming advice, you know, I could have entire shows about gaming advice, but this is a live show. So if y'all want gaming advice, ask me questions. Okay, just put a question in the chat or over on the Discord, and I will answer it in the show in real time. All right, let's make this again. I like making this a conversation, right? Not just me going, I'm gonna give you a lecture. You know, Let's see. If you guys are wondering about my equipment, because I can do this, my good equipment has been hot to the touch. All right, which means I've got to replace a couple of things because a few circuits have blown out because of the heat wave that's been going on here in Southern California. But I figured out a way to keep the channel going and to keep us going and all that jazz. So thank you for bearing with me. Tell a friend, and of course like and subscribe and all of that jazz. But in the meantime, if anybody tells you that you guys can't like what you like because of the circumstances of your birth, you can tell them to put any of those cards: race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexuality, all that jazz. You can tell them to put those cards back in the deck, because the circumstances of your birth should have very little bearing on what you are capable of. And with that, I will see you guys tomorrow on the dark side of the room.